All right, all the bolts are done, everything's lined up, and now we have to torque down our back bolts. So we'll grab the gun, torque down this one, and we'll torque down this one, and all it's left to do is tap into the wire harness for the seat belt and for the power for the seat. Okay, now the final project. We tested everything with battery power. Okay, now the only thing left to do is to hook up the power to the vehicle. And here's the harness for the vehicle. It's black and green, the thick wires are the power, and then the other two are for the seatbelt sensor to make sure you're buckled up. And we'll tap all those in with these nice little splice connectors, and you can get those at any auto parts store. Okay, we put the black wire on already using our splice connector, and now we're going to hook up the power wire, which is green. And we'll be getting this way you don't have to get rid of your connector. So you just crimp it on like that, all the way down, get it through both wires so it's flat. A little bit more. There we go. And you just cover it with a little lid. Locks it in and you're all set. Okay, so now it's all that's left is the seatbelt wires, and there's two right there. And we'll hit them with the two thinner wires that are on the wire connector in the vehicle. Okay, we did the splice connectors for the power wires, which was green and black. Matched those up. And then the two thin wires for the seatbelt sensor. So everything's all hooked up. Let's test the seat at this time. And this is power off of the car now, not on the battery that we were using. Okay, everything's working. So it should be all set. Now we're going to do the passenger side. No wires, a lot easier. And hopefully we don't strip the bolts, right? Okay, now we're going to work on the passenger. Let's get the seat in the car. And we follow the same process. You're going to start the bolts in, both the front and the back. A lot easier. You have no power to worry about. Everything's manual. And now we're going to start doing the bolts, and we'll go take it from there. Okay, start your bolts by hand so that they don't strip. The fronts you just tighten in a little bit because we're going to end up pulling them out so that we can get to these shiny bolts here and torque those down. Okay, so you're all set. All you do is bring the seat all the way to the front. Now you can work on the back, starting both of your seats and your bolts. Make sure these rear bolts right here are loose, because that will gives you a little more play. You worry about that later. That's the last thing you do, these rear bolts. Okay, start one. Start the second one. Make sure you turn it in at least 3 or 4 times. Okay, and this I'm not liking. Alright, okay, now you get your impact gun. Alrighty then, now we're going to torque them down. Do it slowly, or you can use a hand tool too. Okay, go ahead. Next, do the other one. Okay, and you're still, these bolts on the back here are still loose. We still have to torque those down. And now we'll go back to the front. You're now going to remove the bolts that you started. And what we're going to do is tighten down these 2 bolts. All right, after you do the bolts, all you got to do is lift up on the seat, torque those down. There's one. This is so you're lined up on the studs. See the stud, they're just going right in. Like I said, these adapter plates gave you a lot of slop so that you can adjust. You might need to redo things. If anything binds up, there's always, you can always put spacer washers in the in between the bolts. But we haven't had any problems with anything binding up. And there's going to be a lot of, if your car was hit or your carpet's thicker or you have aftermarket carpet in there, then you might have to improvise with some washers. Anyways, that's all torqued down, each of those bolts. Now we're going to put the nut on the stud. That stud came out, so we're going to put the whole stud back in. Finger tight it so that you don't strip it. Okay, now you get your gun or your hand ratchet. Okay, Now you can do the other side. Okay, that's good. Okay, last but not least, we torque down the bottom bolts here. One there, one there. There you go, one there. Okay, and she's in. Now check to see if the seat's binding up at all. Slides back and forth perfectly, and you are now complete. Remember, you can get these adapter plates at cyberyard.com, on eBay, and also at OEMcarandtruckseats.com. And you got the newer seats in the older vehicle.